Hello and welcome
Hello.
to the Too Many Words podcast, Jordan.
Yes, that
Episode
is what this is.
18.
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yeah. As you all know, I am your co-host, Isaac William Joseph, alongside the beautiful Just Jordan, or Jordan, however, Panda, Yoda, Butch, JVC, Jordan Van Cleve, the Great. As you all heard from the last episode, we tapped on his bio, and I guess that was just a natural way of getting to know a little bit more of the both of us last week.
I don't think I've had like one day off since our last recording.
Really. As you all know, this is going to be released on Christmas Eve. If you guys listen during the week, not on release date, it is on Christmas or post-Christmas. We wish all of you guys, hope all you had a really good Christmas, and on to the next holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot what I was going to say. With that said, if you haven't watched the Christmas special,
Go fucking watch
go
it.
listen, go watch to it.
Go watch to it.
Go watch to
Yep.
it.
That's all right. That works just fine. Honestly.
Listen to it. There's some goodies in it. You don't have to watch all 2 hours, but trust me, it's honestly, after reviewing it, it's really one of those things that really get better as you watch more of it.
You really think it starts slow, don't you?
I don't know. I feel like that's like the driest Tyrion content I've ever gotten.
I mean, it's just
a
typical
kid being repetitive,
3-year-old,
yeah.
You know, he's in that stage where he just keeps repeating and like the why, what's that, the questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a typical thing I kind of expected. So.
On to the Instagram followers for the week. As you guys all know, you guys can follow us and find us at Too Many Words Podcast on Instagram. That's where you can go get the updates, all the episode shares on the stories, on the posts. It's a really good source if you want to stay connected with us. With that said, you're going to like how many people followed us throughout the week.
It's like 5, isn't it?
4.
Okay.
We're actually at a total of... wait for it.
Should be...
Wait for it. 56 followers. 56 followers.
That's good. That's good.
That's really good, dude. Yeah, it's actually really starting to look like friends of friends and friends of guests are following us. I know that the first 3 are from Josh, him and his boys. Josh, definitely a really good guest, obviously. W guest. Yeah, 10 out of 10 guest. And then our one guy who is a friend of that guy that you used to work with, who's, a beefcake.
Oh, Austin?
Yeah.
He's a friend of his? How do you know that?
Instagram tells you, like, mutual follows.
Oh, what's his name?
Okay, so the first 3 are from Josh. The last one's from that
shout
guy.
him out. Go in order.
At Cool Fisher.
Cool Fisher.
At Michael.Avent.
Okay.
And I really like this one. His name is Noah. His @ is I know a guy 98.
Dude, that reminds me of this one dude I played on Xbox with briefly. His name was Schmidt, and his gamer tag was I'm Schmidt faced.
You gotta love those people that play with their names like that.
Oh, it's so great.
Like me, I sat groceries.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah. And then lastly, at Colby_Schwantes.
Oh, it's Colby. Okay. He also worked in the meat department.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, then he ain't just a friend of a friend. He's just a friend.
One of my friends. Thank you for following Colby. And thank you for following everyone else.
Yeah, really good
Mr.
outcome.
Noah. I know a guy.
See, things might not be great looking on Anchor, but, like, social media, that's our bread and butter right now.
That's how we grow, man. That's how we really grow.
Yeah. With that said, let's go on the podcast news. Nothing much other than go watch the Christmas special if you haven't.
Special will have been out for
really special.
How long now?
9 days.
9 days, yeah.
9 days as of this release on Christmas Eve.
No, I mean it means you will have had 9 days to have watched it, but that doesn't mean like you can't watch it now. You can't watch it later. It's a great thing. Maybe we'll watch it. Maybe we'll do a live reaction video next Christmas special.
Next Christmas special, we're doing that Christmas album. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I got a feeling you got the idea of that from the Christmas special when we just started singing a song.
Dude, were we not angels?
I mean...
Did you hear that part? We were good.
Yeah.
Maybe give us some practice.
We weren't synchronized that well. There was a brief moment where we were really synchronized. But before and after that, no.
I feel like I have one of those voices that is almost good.
Oh, you have a beautiful voice. You cannot be in show choir for as long as you were and not have a good enough
False. Voice. There were some tone-deaf asses in show choir, okay?
I farted.
Sometimes I am just a little bit flat or a little bit sharp, and it's just not good sometimes. But
man, I think that's just your flavor.
I think the best songs that I sing are like 3 Days Grace songs. Like those are just songs that I've sang hundreds of times throughout my life. So I think just my vocal cords needs a little bit of training with some things, and I'll be good with it.
Sometimes I think about like whether or not I'm singing a song all right or good enough, and then I think like, nah, man, that's just how I do it.
I like that.
Like, think of like a cover. Like, there are moments where, like, obviously, the singer cannot sing exactly the same as the original artist.
Oh, of course.
And, like, sometimes it's not just because they want to, it's because they physically can't, or it's because, like, whatever. Maybe that's just their style.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a good mentality to have with it.
Yeah. With that said, with this releasing around Christmas still, this being released on Christmas Eve, I feel kind of wrong to just completely dismiss the Christmas holidays season in this one. So we are going to review, first half of this episode, we're going to review the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That's really cool. Obviously, so far we've already proven to be super big Marvel fans. And we're just going to do a little tidbit of that. And then right afterward, chronological calendar, right? We're going to go right into talking about what we're going to do for New Year's. I'm thinking about live streams. I'm thinking about Patreon. I'm thinking about bringing a bunch of friends over. We can definitely just brainstorm about what we're going to have, okay? And then if we decide something within the hour, we will definitely pitch it, because there's no way people are going to there's no way that enough people are going to listen to the New Year's Eve episode and then figure out what we're doing for New Year's Eve.
I'm questioning like the live stream, because like you can't really do a countdown to midnight on a live stream that takes place 11 days before New Year's.
I'm thinking you record an episode that comes out. That's just an episode that comes out. Maybe we'll reflect on the year.
Yeah.
But a live stream is like, hey, we'll live stream us doing a party.
Okay. We can have that one be a shorter episode if maybe you think so.
You think? I
don't know.
Another
special, maybe like a half-hour episode.
I don't know.
Or maybe you want to do a full episode.
Well, I don't know if those should correlate at all, because those will be within just hours of each other, and we don't have a crazy huge audience just yet for enough people to, know about the New Year's episode.
Maybe we do this. Maybe for the official episode we have come out on New Year's, we keep it to about 45 minutes long. And then we do another 45-minute New Year's live special.
Yeah. To midnight, right?
Yeah, 2 midnight.
2 midnight. We'll see what kind of friends are... we'll see what kind of friends would want to come to that. I'm thinking by default we invite everybody that works for the Scald Stone thus far.
So, yeah.
Maybe the 2 guys that I plan on hiring for the sports pod.
So did you have that?
We're having that lunch tomorrow, actually. Okay. So, yeah, don't name drop until they say yes. We're not going to give them name credit for
I was thinking maybe we just try to invite everyone we've had on the podcast.
Ooh, that'd be cool. We could make it like a really big thing. Hey, I'm going to call back Hannah real quick. This ought to be fun.
Okay. Do you want to? If you want to do it privately, you can.
No. I'm gonna tell her. Hi, Hannah. You're on the podcast right now. Say hi.
Hi.
Cool. What's up?
Sorry, I missed a call from you. I just got off work.
Oh, you were just calling me back?
Yeah, you called me.
Yeah. I just wanted to call you because I was bored driving home.
Oh, okay. Well, do you need anything right now, baby?
No, I'll tell you about the Christmas party I was at later.
Deal.
Cool. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bitch.
Okay.
What?
I said, okay.
Oh.
I was about to be like, that was cool, but then you just were like, bitch. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. She's super fake. She's dating me for the money.
The lack thereof?
Yeah. So, yeah, Jordan, let's just dive right into it, bro. What did you think of the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special?
It was cute.
It was cute?
Yeah.
That it?
Honestly, yeah.
I have a feeling this is going to be brief. Just like the holiday special.
Honestly, I don't really have a lot of feelings on it. I was like, oh yeah, it's
I don't
Guardians
see
crew, but like, you know.
I don't see myself seeing it every year. It's not going to be like I don't know if it's going to be a tradition. I'll see how I feel next year on it. Right? I adopt a bunch of dumb things to do every year for Christmas, but it wasn't emotionally impactful. It was just like a fun little thing for 45 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Bacon thing kind of came out of left field. I mean, it makes sense, but
It's interesting to me that like there's just now like 5 actors that just can never play an MCU role. If they care about continuity, it'll never happen.
well, it didn't
But-
say their names, did it?
No,
Just their
like,
faces?
It's not like it's the first time they would have done that. Because like there was one of the Eternals ladies, she played 2 different MCU roles.
Really?
Yeah. The main Asian one,
Really?
yeah. She played a character in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Really?
Yeah. It was an alien character, so she was wearing like a lot of makeup. Couldn't really tell it was her. So like I think that's how they could probably get past it.
You can definitely get past it, yeah.
But like if it's an obvious like, hey, this is very obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just like, okay.
I mean, there's movies that have multiple people having the same person that do multiple roles in the same movie.
I mean,
Like
yeah, but,
Coming to
that's-
America.
That's the shit.
Eddie Murphy's half the cast.
I mean, you think about like, you know, the series of unfortunate events with Jim Carrey. You played half the cast.
Yeah.
I mean that's just like that's the thing for that movie though. So.
But real quick, what are some highlights that you got out of this holiday special?
Drax was wearing a shirt the entire time because they didn't want to pay for all the makeup.
Okay, so what I actually heard was that Dave Bautista wasn't crazy about staying in crazy shape the whole time for the Drax character. You could notice his face was a little extra round in this special. I don't think it's fair to say he's letting himself go, but like he's definitely like a little bit more relaxed. You know, I mean, I've briefly seen screenshots, as much as I would like to avoid it. I've briefly seen screenshots of Guardians 3. He's wearing a shirt in those as well. You know,
You know what's interesting?
What?
I'm pretty sure the holiday special was filmed after Volume 3.
Oh, you think Volume 3's done?
Well, yeah, they have a trailer. All that's left is post-production.
Yeah, I guess.
And barely even that.
Because I feel like there's still a little bit of editing in it.
Yeah, like I said, that's post-production. They're not going to do any more reshoots or anything like that.
Of
That would
course
have been
not.
done a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm saying, like, filming specifically, I'm pretty sure the holiday special was filmed after Volume 3.
Okay. I want to say a few highlights. This did not fail to make me laugh.
I mean, no, it didn't. It was
100%.
funny. It gave me
There was quite a few parts that made me laugh so hard.
just
Like
the Kevin Bacon chase scene, and just in general, was pretty great.
that was pretty goofy, yeah. Oh, the little funny man. You got your little candy. You got your like red stripy man. This is not a man.
Is this a man?
Does this look like a man to you? That's so stupid. But I'd like to say that some of my favorite parts involved Rocket in this one. My two favorite
He
parts.
was in it like for the 5 seconds.
I don't care. I think his parts were great.
I mean, he got the.
It
the
was
arm.
like Kevin Bacon shows up, and Rocket Raccoon's like, "Oh, this guy ain't so bad," and Kevin Bacon's like, "Is that a raccoon?" He's like, "I'll kill him." Like immediately, dude. That makes me laugh, bro. That is hilarious. And then when Nebula gifted him Winter Soldier's arm, that is hilarious. Given the fact that we already know he loves appendages for some reason. Like that is just, dude. That is.
I'm curious on how they're gonna explain that.
I don't think it needs explained.
Oh, it definitely does. As someone who like nitpicks about the details and shit like that, it needs to be explained.
Oh, like how Nebula got the arm.
Yeah, well, just how he has Bucky's arm last time we saw him, he was wearing the arm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a new one, I guess.
Yeah, parts that like really like I don't know, explored lore. It's kind of weird because like at first it's like I don't know, reading a lot of Guardians comics and playing the Guardians video game. Honestly, Guardians at this point, Star-Lord specifically, is really up there with Thor at this point. You know, like I try to differentiate what I like in the comics and what I like in the MCU. I think I really like Guardians the most when it comes to the comics. I've read the most Guardians comics.
They have a lot of really fun comic runs.
They really do. I'm actually reading a current comic book line right now. Star-Lord just sacrificed himself. I'm really depressed.
It's because they were such, they were really more of a minor group for, like, the longest time. So, like, they could really do whatever they wanted with it.
Yeah. They
could have fun.
Yeah.
So,
it's really great. I'm actually reading a series that's from 2020, just a couple years ago. I actually just finished the entire, not just finished, like last January or February, I had finished like the 2008 to 2010 series. A lot of continuity still holds up. Like there was like still an entire war, but like you still know a lot of characters and their bonds with other people. And I guess I should stop talking about things that aren't the holiday special right now. But like I said, given that I've read so many of those comics and I've played the video game at least a couple times at this point,
really?
I'm trying to get all the outfits.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to unlock all the outfits.
It's actually really easy to do that as you go.
Yeah, I know. Some outfits are really hard to find.
Not when you have Google.
Yeah, I've been Googling it. But, like, I don't know, there's just some things that they uncover with lore in this special, where at first you're like, oh, that's not true, but then it's like, oh no, that's from something that's not canon. Like how he got his guns, his blasters. Star-Lord got his blasters as a Christmas gift from Yondu. That's really cute. What did you think of the animation from the beginning and the end?
So, it's animation style. Not even really an animation style. It's an editing technique called rotoscoping. I actually brought it up before on the podcast, which is funny. But it's pretty much just mapping one like a person and like just being able to put in over like any sort of backdrop. It takes some skill to get done right. And like certain people, it's their specialty. So like,
it really did like give me a like Christmas animation feel.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not get that.
Despite it not being like actual animation, but like I did notice that I was a little confused because on Instagram, who's the actor for Yondu?
For Yondu?
Well, they had pictures of Yondu in makeup and in costume and stuff like that. And I'm like, he was only animated for this special. I thought he only had some voice lines. But no, yeah, they did that thing that you were just rotoscoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure... No, never mind. I guess, yeah. Yeah, so...
What'd you think of Cosmo being in this?
It was good. I like
Cosmo.
Good.
It was good. We all love Cosmo, bro. The Russian space dog. Only ever a couple Easter eggs until now. It makes me super happy. And apparently, Is this true? Did the collectors sell nowhere to the Guardians?
I guess so.
That is pimp.
I don't think it was Collector. It was someone else because I'm pretty sure the Collector died.
I'm not against that, but I also heard in the podcast that the collector might have sold the. I don't know.
I think
I need to
had
stop
heard it was
trusting other
someone else.
podcasts, to be really honest. But, do you have like a favorite part?
No.
No. Did you not feel anything for this thing?
What?
Did you not feel anything for this
I was
holiday
like, oh
special?
yeah, Christmas.
Oh yeah, Christmas.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't like Christmas movies. I
Well, good
watched
thing
it.
this was a special.
I watched it because it was MCU,
MCU.
not because it was Christmas.
Okay. Well, anyways. Let's see. Anything else I want to say on this?
Ugh.
Nebula's still hot. Cool.
I think she talks funny, but you know.
All right. Cool. Do I want to explain where I just came from?
Sure.
All right. So, I had the pleasure, the absolute pleasure, of coming from my church's young adults group Christmas party. It's a little Christmas party. We did White Elephant. We did this one game with like saran wrapped balls that had gifts in them. I actually have a little goodie bag. I won quite a few things. Let me grab this thing and show you everything that I won.
Okay.
Jordan.
Hmm.
Say something fun.
Chickens, they don't fly. They fall slowly. What the fuck?
Well. Ugh. So, I'm thinking of who should I get this for? So, what I'm holding right now is a spatula and a cookie cutter in the shape of a Christmas tree. And the spatula says, "'Tis the season, peace on earth." Oh wow, it's got like measurements on the back. That's really cool. Should I don't know. I want to make this a mom gift, but at the same time, I don't know because I want to give her. Jordan, what are you doing?
Looking up the stuff about nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I was the collector. Or at least that's what it says on the wiki.
Okay. Jordan, who should I gift this to?
That's the most obvious one. Your mother.
No, my mom's gonna get the bath bomb. Or should I give Cindy the bath bomb and I give this?
Let's give the bath bomb to Hannah.
No, I already made Hannah's gift.
Okay, now you have more.
No, I can't afford to give people double gifts and then give other people nothing.
Well, what else is in this bag? I just
Well,
assume there's more things in this
I
bag.
think I'm gonna give this to Jesse.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna give to Jesse is
What's in the bag?
grilling, creative and tantalizing
What's in the bag?
recipe. Wait a second, shut up. We got salmon with lemon, sausage and peppers medley. Hey, that is my Christmas lights necklace, sir.
That's for Tyrion.
I already got Tyrion a gift.
Okay, this is all stuff that was previously unaccounted for.
Yeah, and I'm trying to spread my freaking power, baby.
Okay, do you have more people that you have to give gifts to?
I'm mainly just covering the household and then like selective grandmas and grandparents actually. in
Okay,
general.
then who still needs a gift?
Who would love this flashlight?
Corey.
I don't know Corey anymore. Corey's someone I used to know. Okay?
Didn't he call you like last week?
No, he didn't. These are mine. And by these, I mean air fresheners for cars. And I got $3. And
This smells exactly like my old Firebrush coffee.
oh yeah, and I got Floating sunglass cord. Definitely not how I would name it, but yeah.
That's a thick boy.
Yeah, it's pretty thick. I think I might use it, but I don't know yet. And then the rest is really just candy. I got pens. You want pens?
Pens.
And then, of course, I got those
This
chips
is
that
an
you
important
wouldn't stop.
question, Isaac. What kind of pens?
Oh, what kind of pens? Gel retractable pens.
What brand?
Zebra.
Okay, they're trash. Throw them away.
Oh, okay. Didn't know we had any hard opinions on pens.
Do you not know that I'm a nerd?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a second. Another podcast just followed the podcast on Instagram.
Live Instagram shout out. This just happened.
It's called Reality Tonic Podcast. Reality Tonic Podcast. They have 2,438 followers.
That's
Why are they into
significantly-
us?
Because we're another dope ass podcast.
I guess we're another dope ass podcast.
Hang on.
That's really cool.
What are they called?
Reality Tonic Podcast. Really cool. I guess I'll give them a follow back. But they're really giving me vibes of this is a page that just follows other pages for them to get a follow back and then unfollow. We're going to see how that goes, okay? And if you unfollow, we're going to seriously smash on you on a future episode, okay? Because we need to balance out the automatic shout out. But with that said, let me get back to the notes. Jordan,
They were established in 2021.
Jordan, rate out of 10 the Guardians Holiday Special. Who's that?
This is the podcast that just followed us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get it. Jordan, rate out of 10 this holiday special.
7.5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I really, really, really did like it. With that said, on to the next. Jordan, let's get into it. Hey, you. What are we going to do for New Year's? Huh? What are we doing for New Year's?
I think live stream is a good idea.
Live stream? I think
that's-
so too. Where are we going to do the live stream?
Do you want it to be a podcast or a Patreon exclusive thing?
No.
Because I mean, I've already voiced my opinions about doing things listed on the Patreon that are not Patreon exclusive. But you had voiced other opinions, so I was like, okay.
I think I'm going to do some Patreon stuff this week, considering I don't have school anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like we'll probably won't be launching on the 15th,
Yeah.
but it's all right.
I think okay.
We'll be launching it very
You know
soon.
what? You know what's a thought that just came
Before
to my
the
head?
end of the year, definitely. But
A thought that just came to my head. Mason's supposed to be here after you to record the sports podcast. We missed last week. We missed another week, and honestly, if he misses another week, I might have to fire him. I know that sounds funny and it sounds silly because he's barely an employee,
yeah.
and I barely have a business, and I'm barely anybody's boss because I'm not actually anybody's boss. I'm just inviting people to work with me. But with that said, Gary does have a point of being pretty selective with who I want to have help promote me, right? And the brand, our brand.
I think a good way to really figure that out is what does he bring to the table? How different will it be without him?
So what I'm thinking is if these two new guests are able to do that, like Mason and I are one week and then these guys are the other week and we just go back and forth. If these guys are not a go, and if Mason's problems keep on coming, I'm probably just going to have to diminish the sports podcast altogether. You keep on looking at that Reality Tonic podcast, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I gotta.
I'm curious about it, man.
I ought to
So,
give
like,
him a listen after this, huh? But so okay, we have to pitch it right now. What are people going to do on New Year's Eve in celebratory involvement of us, the Too Many Words podcast and the Skullstone brand?
We gotta get some Too Many Words shot glasses.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What are we going to tell the masses? What are we going to tell the people?
I mean, check us out on New Year's Eve. We'll be.
What are we live streaming on? Are we going to live stream on Facebook? Are
I
we going to
think
live stream on
YouTube.
Instagram? YouTube?
We could do Facebook we can do multiple. That's a thing.
I like the sound of Facebook.
I like the sound of YouTube because we're already,
I like the sound of YouTube.
we upload. To
Do
YouTube.
we go live on YouTube on a computer, and then we go live on Facebook on a phone?
Pretty sure I can live stream from that.
That'd be sick.
I haven't tested it yet, so I don't know.
Okay,
But-
so let's think of where are we going to do it? Are we going to record it here? There's nothing to do in this studio, this basement right now. Do we do it in the living room at your place?
I mean, I don't know.
Do we try to emulate exactly what we did last year, but we're doing live stream?
We can. I wasn't planning on having a New Year's party.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be. It could be just, you, I, Mason, Hannah, Dustin.
Speaking of...
and then Eli and Soren. And then,
You just named their names.
well, they were not related to the sports podcast until you just said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People are just going to be like, questioning that? Why are you Eli Soren? Okay, whatever.
Why Dustin?
It's okay. Well, that's what I was about to get into.
All right. Why Dustin, Jordan?
So I'm just gonna cut that entire section out after, right when you said their names. Okay. So we're just gonna cut that out to right here. All right, Dustin. We is quite possibly gonna be our next employee. He's gonna be it seems like our artist, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he can design more T-shirts. Maybe he can design thumbnails for the YouTube videos. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The digital visual guy.
Yes.
What would you call him? A digital artist?
Yeah, just a graphic designer.
Graphic designer.
Those
Yeah,
were his
that's
words.
it. Yeah, graphic design. We could probably even throw him on the website, be the graphic designer. Yeah. So I'm thinking you, me, Dustin, Mason, Eli, and Soren, maybe. And then like some go-to friends, some go-to guests. Sime, Armin.
I don't know if Armin will be back by then.
Hannah.
I'd love to have Hannah on because she does technically work for us.
She's our t-shirt gal right now so far.
A seamstress.
Our seamstress. But yeah, so I guess at 11:15 p.m. New Year's Eve, tune in on Facebook.
I think 11:30.
Tune in on YouTube. What?
I think 11:30.
Okay.
And then we just go past midnight a little bit. Enjoy the new year.
Thank you for interrupting promo. 11:30 p.m. New Year's Eve. Tune in on YouTube. Tune in on Facebook. The Scaldstone Productions. Or Scaldstone Productions. Not the Scaldstone Productions. But yeah, find us under that handle under either Facebook and YouTube. And you can watch us live while, I don't know, celebrating your own kind of shindig. If you're lonely on New Year's Eve, tune in, baby girls.
Boots and cats.
Also, we'll have an episode coming out that day. It's probably going to be nothing related to New Year's in general.
We'll probably
Actually,
be like,
we're
hey.
going to reflect. Let's reflect on the year.
Yeah.
Let's reflect on the year. That'd be great. Keep on pushing back that Spielberg episode. As much as I hate it, it just fits, you know?
Yeah, we can still talk about Spielberg.
We could still talk about Spielberg.
We'll have 45 minutes to talk about.
Let's see. That was New Year's plans. That was the Christmas party I just came to.
I did.
That was the holiday special we just reviewed. Why don't we just talk about Spielberg now?
We can do that.
Okay. What was your thought that we were just going to have?
I was kind of reorganizing the folders and files.
Yeah, baby girl.
And I just happened to almost rewatch an entire episode.
Yeah, what episode was that?
Episode 2.
Oh, your least favorite episode. Why is
Yeah.
that? What's up? What's up with that episode?
No, yeah, that was it. I just put it on, and it kept going. I just put it on, and it was just kept going. That's all about it.
Well, that's actually a really good pivot because that reminds me, I talked a lot about my first impressions of school in that episode. Guys, I just finished my first whole semester of college. I had straight A's, I promise. Maybe not a 4.0, but I had straight A's. I almost guarantee that. Honestly, so far college was everything I had hoped for. I had to present on the Spielberg paper today. I only had 7 slides on the Spielberg paper. I only got to 5. They cut me off at 8 minutes. The 8 minutes really shot by real freaking quick. But I still got a 23 out of 26 points on the presentation, weirdly enough. I didn't even get to prove like the biggest point in the thing. But yeah. Actually, let me just start out with this. Jordan, ask me some questions about Steven Spielberg. I guess before that, I will say, I had not hinted too much about Steven Spielberg on the podcast episodes. The entire month of November and a little bit of the beginning of December this month, I had to full-blown study anything and everything I could about Steven Spielberg because we had to pick an American icon for my English class's final. With that said, I try to do my best, especially with English homework, to have a little bit of motivation behind completing any of my homework assignments, aka this is probably going on the Scald Stone. Let's make it good. Let's make it done. Let's make it an A, right? With that said, I found it useful. Me, as a future, at least, writer for movies, hopefully screenwriter one day, hopefully maybe director one day, and then if everything goes really well, maybe the businessman in me is a producer one day. Who the hell knows? I just know that I'm going to enjoy the ride. With that said, if you plan on making movies one day, Isaac, why not study the best at it? Now, a lot of people are in debates on if he's the greatest director of all time.
I don't think there ever could be a greatest director of all time.
But you cannot deny he is the highest grossing director of all time. He is worth anywhere between $3 and $7 billion, as noted on the Illiterate podcast. That was just Discord. Ignore it. Jordan, any questions, baby girl?
Not really. That's the tricky part. Like, I already know everything I want to know about Steven Spielberg.
Yeah?
He makes movies that are good.
Well, okay, so I will say I'm going to... The Steven Spielberg paper is on thescaldstone.com right now as we speak. But if there's not an Isaac Narrates on it this month, it's definitely Isaac Narrates for next month in January. I kind of want to touch base on the things that I didn't get to talk about in the paper and or the presentation, which is the things that Steven Spielberg is tied to. See, since I had like a page cap on this paper, I didn't really get to go fully in depth on almost more than a few things that I wanted to go into as depth on in the paper, and then I barely did squat explaining him in the presentation. Like 8 minutes went by and it was like, bam, you're done. Sorry, Isaac, you only get to explain that Steven Spielberg maybe didn't like his dad. But anyways,
8 minutes is a long time.
8 minutes is not a long time.
Seems like a long time to me.
50 plus year career in an 8-minute presentation? Nope. With that said, I could have done better with the presentation, but I was exhausted. I was over it. I was so over it with this homework, honestly. But I finished everything. Um, let's get into the things that Steven Spielberg made, because ever since making the Steven Spielberg paper, I've ran into people that are like, who the heck is Steven Spielberg? Isn't that crazy to you that people are just like, who is that? People like our age are asking, who is that?
I mean, that was just your girlfriend.
No. If it was just my girlfriend, I would have just said just my girlfriend. No. People I talked to at school were like that, and I also made a poll.
Although, I suppose like something that happens frequently is like, you know, this person's works, but you don't know them. Like, hey,
Exactly.
It's that guy from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know their name, but I know their face.
Yeah.
Or that person made what song? You know, that typical.
I don't know.
kind
It
of
was
stuff.
just so surreal to me because Steven Spielberg was, in fact, the first non-actor that I knew of when it came to, like, the movies. That's because of what, sir?
Sorry, it's because he's Steven Spielberg.
Exactly, right? That's what you'd think. But, yeah.
Like some people, that's just no.
I mean, for everybody that was like, who's Steven Spielberg, all it took for me was like, Jurassic Park? Oh, yeah, okay. You know, E.T.? Yeah. You know, Jaws? I mean, I haven't seen it, but I know the movie. Dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it. But, yeah, I mean, so yeah, this man has made a lot of movies that, you know, if you are currently listening and you don't know Steven Spielberg, those are some movies that he's made. The Indiana Jones franchise, that was like the ultimate team up between George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Indiana Jones, one of my favorite franchises, as previously said on the Too Many Words podcast. Go check out episode 8 where we talk about our favorite movies, and we mentioned that. What are you doing? Jordan, you've been quite distracted this whole episode.
Sorry, I accidentally pushed the button. I was trying to make sure I was on the right one.
Okay, that's actually fair. But,
I'm not distracted this whole episode. I'm fucking tired.
yeah, you are tired. Wake up. You know how many times I've showed up to the pod with a massive headache?
Yeah, and I've felt bad for that
Yeah,
every
crazy.
single time.
But anyways, hey, Jordan, you got any more questions for me?
Why Steven Spielberg?
Why Steven Spielberg what?
Why'd you make a paper on him?
Why'd I make a paper on him? I mean, okay, so it was actually kind of nonchalant. She kind of sat down. This was like freshly in like the second half of like the class, which was, oh, she just graded my serial killers paper. Now let's go in on our final. Our final is going to be about American icons, and you're going to help. You're just gonna pick an American icon to write a research paper about. Someone immediately picked Kanye. Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. Someone in my class picked Kanye. Someone in my class picked Kim Kardashian, and someone in my class picked Taylor Swift.
Okay.
That's quite the trilogy right there. But, crazy. Anyways, let's see. I mean, so, you know, it was in that vein of, if I'm going to learn anything about anybody, why can't I learn about someone that I could, like,
In your
find
field.
useful in my future? Like, techniques and such, right? So I was just like, in my head, it's like, oh, do I do Taika Waititi? No. I don't know if he's like that much of icon status just yet. Do I do James Gunn? No. I don't even know if I was already writing the paper before or after James Gunn was appointed the CEO spot.
What I said
But
before.
James Gunn was a thought in my head for if I picked him. I might have learned a lot about James Gunn. I would have been fine picking James Gunn. But then I was like, oh, no, who's like legendary? Who's like all time? And then I was like, George Lucas, but I don't really like George Lucas. I really don't. I mean, he's not garbage, but like, he hasn't made a crazy amount of things outside of Star Wars. I mean, there's like Willow,
American Graffiti.
did he make Twister?
I have no idea. But are you American Graffiti?
I don't know about American Graffiti.
That's one of his most well-performing movies.
I guess
like,
I'm just out of the loop.
ever.
I guess I might just not be open-minded to that.
Um,
I guess I gotta look into that.
That's actually it's something I wanted to talk to you about.
What's
I don't
that?
know how you're coming on your movie list. The films you want to watch.
Yeah.
That needs to be on it.
Okay. American Graffiti.
Yeah.
Noted. With that said, I mean, I'm not a George Lucas fan. I am recently getting back into Star Wars. I'm on the third movie of the prequels.
I feel like
Forgive
that's
me,
a big
Lord, for I
problem
have
with-
suffered.
With a lot of people, is that people are just like, oh, George Lucas, Star Wars, that's it, nothing else. He's actually.
I mean, I
done
know
a
it's not
lot.
nothing else, but like, I looked a little bit of it at his filmography, and I'm barely familiar with anything outside of his Star Wars stuff.
Exactly, but maybe that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess it's just it was closed-minded of me to think, oh, I haven't heard it. Maybe it wasn't anything special. With that said, I mean, I just picked Spielberg. I was like, I like Steven Spielberg. He's a likable guy. I know some of his movies. Let's do this. And I just said Steven Spielberg, and I was like the second person that chose their American Icon. It was just kind of off the cusp. So, I mean, I didn't have any strong feelings behind Spielberg then, but I absolutely have strong feelings behind him now. I truly think I am the only person in the world that just so happened to pick Steven Spielberg to make their research paper for their final in their English class, whilst not knowing, coincidentally, they had a movie coming out last month.
Yeah, he has a biopic out now.
Yeah, that is insane. The Fablemans, go check it out. Came out this last Thanksgiving, might still be in theaters, might be on streaming. I think it might go to Peacock.
Not yet. It's definitely still being theaters.
Definitely still in theaters. Okay. But yeah, The Fablemans, 2.5 hours, but with how, upon studying this, okay, I think I have like one of the most unique journeys when it comes to learning about Steven Spielberg, because I didn't know The Fablemans was coming out until after I started studying Steven Spielberg, and it was in a podcast that mentioned, hey, amid the release of Steven Spielberg's The Fablemans, we're going to touch base on how Steven Spielberg has indirectly told his entire life story through his movies that he's been telling for decades. It is insane the amount. It's just so heavy, bro. It makes a dude emotional, and like that is like. I think you need the level of research that I had to put into Steven Spielberg for you to actually be this emotional when I actually did go watch The Fablemans. I cried. It's a 2.5 hour movie. I cried several times. Not full blown sadness, like tears rolling down my eyes. It's like, my eye's a little dry and it's getting wet a few times during this movie. And, I think if Steven Spielberg isn't anything, he's relatable as all hell. He's a man, he didn't exactly come from, I don't know, poverty. He actually had a really good working dad. But when it comes to, I don't know, having a not so, organized family, having quite a stressful family, having quite a dysfunctional family, a lot of people can relate. A lot of people see how they're being brought up or their environment, and they're like, "Oh, I'm destined to be garbage." But no, Steven Spielberg, he took his pain and turned it into art, just like any other artist. Music artists especially do this. But Steven Spielberg had a divorce. And then, I mean, he did himself have a divorce, but most of his movies are heavily involved on family, and most of the movies are based on the family having some sort of separation or being torn away from each other. And, you know, some movies end up with them figuring out a means to a new normal or coming back together. You know, the day is saved, happy ending. Some of those happen, right? I guess, Jordan, you got any questions for me to turn this anything else?
No.
No? I really don't want this to turn into an episode where I talk for like 20 minutes at a time.
Isaac, you've already talked for 40 minutes at a time.
That's not true. Jordan, we decided to talk about Spielberg at like 36.
I was even before that. It's fine. I don't care. I've told you this before. I literally do. I'm not bothered by you
don't
talking
care about
the
Steven
entire.
Spielberg?
No, I've told you this before that I don't. It doesn't bother me that you talk
you
for the
hate
entire
the Jews?
episode. That's just racist, friend. Okay, no, I love Steven Spielberg. He's
Okay.
great. It's just like I said. I already know everything I want to know about him.
Okay. What do you know about him?
He made good movies.
What else do you know about him?
He's Jewish.
What else do you know about him?
He's balding.
What else do you know about him? I don't think so for that last part, but yeah.
He actually has really good style in hats.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Like, he wears hats a lot, and they're always pretty good.
Yeah. The best directors wear hats all the time and are 5'7".
Okay. That's about it.
Back to the Future.
What? Okay, I mean, yeah, he was involved with Back to the Future. Not drastically, but, like, he was, I think, a producer on it.
If Robert Zemeckis didn't believe Spielberg believed in him, that would have never happened.
Yeah. But, like, I meant, like, active involvement. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
As we
something
established,
to it.
producers don't really do much outside of funding it.
yeah.
But with that said, funding it is like half the battle of
Yeah.
making a movie. Which brings me to, hey guys, if you don't like Jurassic Park, if you don't like Indiana Jones, maybe you think aliens and dinosaurs and sharks are stupid, and archaeologists are stupid, and maybe you have something weird against Judaism. I'll fix all that for you. If you just are a Spielberg hater, odds are you're not. But if you are,
It's pretty hard to hate him.
it is hard to hate him.
He's a
That
nice
dude
dude.
is so humble. On the documentary that I watched about him, he is described as Spielberg acts like a guy that works for Spielberg. Honestly, he's just a guy that's just eager to please and work and just do his best at all times. He doesn't really, I don't know, carry himself high. Not that he has like a hatred for himself, but it's just like he's human. He's always
the
been
dude
human.
making movies.
Yeah, that's just him and his thing, and it's honestly super honorable. But let's see. He is responsible for. Okay, he's attached to Back to the Future franchise, The Gremlins, The Goonies. Didn't Robert Zemeckis make that one too?
Probably.
I think Robert Zemeckis was put onto The Goonies for Spielberg to actually trust him. I think that was like their first work together was The Goonies.
Quite possibly. I couldn't say.
And then so let me backtrack a little bit. Steven Spielberg had become so trusted at Universal Studios that he was able to open the first independent studio. I mean, not independent, but the first new studio in Hollywood in decades, which was originally Amblin Productions, turned to Amblin Entertainment, and now Amblin is now allowed to wave Amblin Entertainment banners, Amblin Television banners, and since he co-founded it in 1994, DreamWorks Pictures. Attaching yourself to DreamWorks Pictures, boom, opens yourself to being responsible for a good half of everybody's childhood since then. Okay, do you like Shrek? You're welcome. Do you like Trolls? You're welcome. Do you
My sister loves Trolls.
do you
That's like
like
her favorite
How to
movie.
Train Your Dragon? Do you like A Dog's Purpose? A fun fact: A Dog's Purpose was the first movie that I ever cried for.
Pretty sure we actually mentioned that already.
Yeah, probably. A Dog's Purpose, very special movie to me, and it's actually really cool to say that a Spielberg production was behind the first movie that made me have real feelings. With that said, he's made Men in Black. No. He's produced Men in Black. The studios made Men in Black. I'm trying to think of so many other things. I think Casper. Just it's endless, bro. Okay, just think about this. Everything you love about your childhood, what you love to watch on TV, what did you like about the movies? Okay, at least at least some sort of corner in your childhood, Steven Spielberg is responsible for, or a few degrees off, of providing what you loved growing up, and that is why he is eternal. But what makes him great is I actually really want to dive into the entire divorce predicament. When his parents divorced, they divorced at 15, when he was 15. Honestly, I am a child of divorced parents, but that happened when I was like a baby. Okay, I have zero memories of my parents being together, therefore it was a little bit easier on me. With that said, you divorce during the very important developmental years of your children. That's gonna mess them up for a while, right? What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, yeah, I guess. My parents separated when I was like 8.
8? See, that's
9.
crazy too.
8 or 9, and then, I mean, so yeah. I mean, I still have memories of when they were together. It wasn't very much different, to be honest, because they didn't really like each other, but, you know, at least it didn't seem like that to young Jordan, but, yeah.
Yeah. But, so initially, Steven Spielberg blamed the divorce on his dad, and his dad on the documentary on HBO admits that he stood at fault because he wanted to protect Steven's mom. Because Steven's mom, he's like, yeah, she could not handle being the blame for that, so he wanted to protect her. Honestly, Leah Adler, garbage person for a while. Like, what an honorable dad that was. What an honorable husband that was to make a move like that. I mean, so let me paint a picture. Leah Adler, Steven's dad, or Steven's mom. What are you looking at?
The wires.
The wires. Steven's mom has been described as Peter Pan in multiple sources in Steven Spielberg's life. She's more described as like their friend more than their mom, or a big sister more than their mom. And then you have, I forgot Steven's dad's name, but Mr. Spielberg, was just every bit of stereotype of a man who was self-made from the 50s and the 60s that you would think of, other than being a Jew, which was, super discriminated against back then. That was pretty much the only thing that wasn't exactly going for him when it came to what is expected out of a American white male of the time. Mr. Spielberg, was actually a computer scientist. Just imagine him, primitive, dressed all nice all the time, talking about his work, focusing on his work all the time, and him and his family having to move a couple times because of job promotions. And that was actually really the problem at some points with him and the family, was because they lived in New Jersey, and because of a promotion, a job opportunity, Mr. Spielberg took the family to Arizona. And then after that, a few years later, Mr. Spielberg took the family to California, Los Angeles, if I'm correct. Are you getting bored of me?
No, keep going.
No, you're just tired?
Yeah.
Legitimately? Okay. But, so, if you take those characteristics from both of the parents, you can see hints of those people in these movies. Okay, so let me break it down. Modern movies are almost... It died?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I keep going?
That's if you want. We just won't have any video.
Okay. Modern movies to this day are almost expected to have the standard of full frontal story, underarching story, with like a moral underneath, or just a hidden indirect telling. That is something that Steven Spielberg learned at 16 watching the movie Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia was actually the movie that made him almost quit at 16 because he thought the bar was simply too high. But he embraced it, went and saw that movie every week while it was in theaters, and forever then on, learned that you have to have a surface level story and then an underlying message in that story. Preferably a character arc that changes in not just the main character, but a few characters. And that is something that Steven Spielberg mastered throughout his career. But what is so special about Steven's movies is the involvement of this divorce. It is the involvement of him not accepting his Judaism, specifically just for Schindler's List. Schindler's List is actually quite special. It's actually known to be one of the most well-done movies of all time by Spielberg, considering it's one of only 2 movies that got an Oscar, considering that is actually on like top 10 of all-time movies lists by a few professional sites. Definitely not in my top 10, 3-hour-long black and white Holocaust movie is a little bit dry to this 23-year-old, but you gotta appreciate it for what it is and what it symbolizes. So on the surface, Schindler's List. Oskar Schindler saves over 1,000 lives, 1,000 Jewish lives, right? That's the super crappy short summary of that movie. Underneath it, the symbolism of the entire black and white movie having one little girl in a red coat, the only color in this movie, symbolizing the Holocaust. She is out in the open while other Jewish people are being murdered in the ghetto. Nobody's giving her any attention. She is not being apprehended. What this was Spielberg symbolizing how America, or humanity in general, turned their backs to the Holocaust. Because this was actually during a very different time. Because this was before our time. Obviously, we all know about World War II. We all know about the showers. We all know about the Holocaust. We all know about Adolf Hitler, the horribleness that was that. And we all know that never again means never again. But back in 1993, this was on the hush-hush. That was insane. That's insane to think about. How that is like, it is improper or indecent to talk or show the things that have been shown in this movie. Talk about the things that were talked about in this movie. But with Spielberg movies, I got on a little bit of tangent right there, but it's a related tangent. But with Spielberg movies, what are you doing, baby girl?
I'm grabbing the camera.
Okay. But with Spielberg movies, not only is there a surface level story, not only is there an underlying arc, I'm willing to say that almost every Steven Spielberg movie has 3 layers. Surface level, underlying arc, and then what does this movie say about Spielberg? What was Spielberg going through or what is Spielberg trying to personally tell us in this movie about himself? He does this in almost every movie. Especially with, as said, most of his movies being about family. Jordan, during those years where he hated his dad over the divorce, he came out with movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Both of those movies.
So he didn't find out until much later into his life.
So, upon my research, it was actually quite difficult to pinpoint when he found out the truth. But I think it's a little bit easier to pinpoint when he actually started understanding his dad or started to want to turn the energy around with how he felt about his dad. In the movies E.T. and in the movie Close Encounters, both of them, there's no dad in E.T. Mm-hmm. There is a spoken of dad in E.T., but that dad is over in Mexico the whole time with this lady named Sally. And the mother, upon hearing this, walks to the kitchen so her children don't see her tears, implying that maybe Spielberg's divorce, that was the reason why it was Dad's fault. Dad, being away working all the time, was having an affair, right? Same thing goes, almost the exact same thing goes with Close Encounters. Take the archetype of a father that is so enveloped with his job, his work, or at least just not prioritizing his family. See, in Close Encounters, it's actually really, Steven Spielberg is quoted that it's actually about a dissolution of a family. Things go crazy with that family because this guy wants to research so much about communicating with aliens. And he just loses it. And so, like, those two movies have very negative approaches to the father archetype in the movie. And this continues for a little bit here and there. Those are my two prime examples for the first stage of not liking Dad so much. The second prime examples in the middle. So, see, I think you can split it into like 3 phases, maybe even 4 phases, because the middle phase is a little loosey-goosey, which is why I say it's hard to pinpoint these things. In 1989, Spielberg finishes at the time an intended trilogy, 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Jordan, what happens in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Indiana Jones rescues his father, and they kind of bicker a lot, and then they get close, and then they kind of have like a redemption at the end of the movie.
That is almost exactly how Steven Spielberg probably felt about his dad for the very longest time. And I listened to a review of this movie, and it talks so much about how, Ford's character, Indiana Jones, became an archaeologist just so he could get his dad's approval. Steven Spielberg, he's making this movie for the first time in his career, putting a bright light on a father figure, a positive light on a father figure, saying, hey, I love you. Hey, I want your approval. Hey, things are not perfect, just like Indiana Jones and his father. But there's at least an understanding or a yearning for understanding. But I think there's something very important that needed to happen for him to come out with a movie like this and movies so on. That movie came out summer 1989. Steven Spielberg had a divorce of his own, February 1989. Now, of course, they didn't make the entire movie in between those months. But just like most divorces, it was probably premeditated, and in those months, Steven Spielberg was probably understanding by the day what his father had to face, the situations that his father had to go through, the decisions his father had to make, especially both of them having children during their divorce. And that's what I think is really the major turnaround for Steven Spielberg's viewpoint on his father. The next movie would be the second movie that he ever won an Oscar for, which is Saving Private Ryan. Have you seen this movie?
I don't like
war movies?
Yeah, I don't like.
I'm not too big on war movies either, but I think Saving Private Ryan is recently for me, something that I have to go see at least once. That movie, as a person who has not seen the movie, that movie is the first movie that is written out. It says somewhere in the movie, at the beginning or the end, for Dad. That is the movie that was for his father, because his father was a veteran. So, of course, make a war movie about your father who was a veteran. Not about your father, but for your father. His father is quoted to say that really felt good right here in his heart. Obviously, he's warming up to his dad at this point. Saving Private Ryan came out in 1998. 2004. Now, I don't know how long Steven Spielberg knew the actual truth about the divorce, but 2004, he comes out with Catch Me If You Can. Have you seen Catch Me If You Can? No? So obviously, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, in the first act, his parents get divorced. This is based on a true story. I don't know the full extent of how true the story is, but the divorce happens. But before I tell you anything else, let me come out with why his parents actually got a divorce. Do you know why his parents actually got a divorce?
No.
No, I'm actually asking.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't care. Honestly, I'll be honest, it's not something that's important to me.
I mean,
for you, I understand, because this is the person you've just been researching for a month.
Well, yeah, I think you have to understand it to understand his implications in these movies.
No, that's not important to me.
All right. You know, that really speaks on how I reevaluated what I should have presented in my presentation this morning. I should have just said, "Hey, he made a lot of money. Hey, he made these movies. Hey, he made these studios."
This is a big deal to some people.
This is the biggest point to me, that there's not only 2 layers of every movie, but at least for Steven Spielberg movies, there's 3.
A lot of this is also just a bunch of stuff you've already told me. As a matter of fact, almost all of everything you've said so far is something you've already said.
What is something new that you just learned?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Well, you listen to this podcast all the time, so maybe
honestly,
you'll catch something.
During editing, I do, yeah.
But,
especially when there's video.
The real reason why Steven Spielberg's parents got a divorce is because Leah Adler was cheating on her husband with his best friend.
I did know that.
That is shady, bro. I think on all accounts that is shady. I think it's even shadier back then. But it's not clear how Steven thought about his mother after that. But let's see, how do I want to say this? It's obviously a very similar situation in Catch Me If You Can, when you have a suspicious man around right after the divorce of Leonardo DiCaprio's parents, or on-screen parents. It's quite similar. Now, I don't know how much of Steven is in this true story, but it's very similar. Maybe it warranted him to grab this true story and make a movie about it. But then it comes to the final phase, which is acceptance and honoring his parents. Now that brings me back to the Fablemans, but before I talk about the Fablemans again, I want to talk about Lincoln. Lincoln. Jordan, have you seen Lincoln?
Actually, no. I remember when that movie came out, because it came out like the exact same time as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
I remember that one.
And I was like, man, that looks a lot more interesting than the other one.
So yeah, 2014, Lincoln came out. Jordana. Now, how one can ask, how much personalization can Spielberg put into a movie about Abraham Lincoln? Seems redundant, right? Movie is mostly about Abraham Lincoln, his presidency, and I think it's the Emancipation Proclamation? It's mostly about that. But there's quite a bit of runtime for the family moments in this movie. The human side of Abraham Lincoln. The human side of his wife, Mary Todd. And that goes to show the weight on the shoulders of a working man, much like Steven Spielberg's father. The weight on the shoulders of having to put on a smile, even though tragedy is happening to her personally, but she has to put on a smile as the First Lady almost every single day. Hidden pain, much like her mother went through. See, what Steven Spielberg did was take away the title of First Lady and President, and you have two relatable human parents that really are just struggling with their family. And that is giving credit to the responsibilities that both his parents had to hold growing up. Now, I don't know, it might be a little conceited to say, hey, Lincoln and Mary Todd are the equivalent to my parents as Steven Spielberg. But it's even much more so in the obvious coming to be in The Fabelmans. Bring you right back to The Fabelmans. Now, The Fabelmans has parts where both parents look like dipshits. You know, almost the entire movie, Steven Spielberg's dad's like, hey, movies are fake. Why don't you go do something real? You know, there's plenty of moments where he says that or insinuates it, all right? And doesn't see very much in the road ahead of Steven when it comes to I want to make movies. And then there's moments, you know, the obvious portrayal of his mom falling in love with someone else. Now, both of those are bad things about his parents. But at the same time, he honors his parents by saying, hey, there's some actual parts where my parents had a heart, where they were good people. Because his mom rarely is pictured as giving up on him as a filmmaker. Most often actually encouraged it. And the father, despite being against his filmmaking, had always supported him at the bare minimum as his son. You know, after the divorce, he moved in with his father, went to school and college while living with his father. And at the very end, it does pick up the pieces of anything you thought about the dad, but the dad is very caring and loves him. He honors, but also near truthfully tells this reenactment of how his parents were. Any questions? Okay. Now, the most important thing I want to say about The Fabelmans is what I said at men's group last week. In the scene where the inevitable divorce scene happens, everybody's crying, his sisters are crying, mom and dad's crying. Steven Spielberg's character, Sammy, sitting on the stairs, tears in his eyes. Through his tears, across the room, is a mirror on the wall. He has this vision. In a movie that just is based on a true story, there's not too much symbolism. It's just a lot of surface level concrete stuff. But the only part that was symbolic was this moment. He sees himself in the mirror filming the moment that his parents got divorced. That was a 3-second shot with an entire career referenced in it. That is heavy. That made me emotional with all this realization. I might be the only person ever to see that part and that make me emotional because of the things that I had researched prior. But I came away from that scene and thought, that's why movies are real. Movies are real because all movies are is human messages, human connections, and a very outlandish plot. That's all movies are, is retellings of people's legit experiences.
Stories.
And fantasized in any amount that people want to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, what are stories but inspiration from things that, that they know out of life? And that is very special to me. And from now on, I will hold movies to a higher regard after all of this. I will love Steven Spielberg at a more intense capacity after all this. And, yeah, I guess I'm quite glad to talk about Steven Spielberg. Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year if you're watching it this late, but I will again say, if it's almost the new year, watch us on Facebook and YouTube for the live stream, 11:30 p.m., Scald Stone Productions. Jordan, you have any YouTube stats to share? No?
I just shared them, remember?
Did you just share
A
them?
couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So
There's not really much anything different, I don't think. I mean, I can pull it up real quick just to see if there's anything different.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Da-da-da. So on Anchor, our latest episode, 16, Wakanda Forever, and Phase 4 rankings, has 7 total plays as of being released just 3 days ago. Our audience size went back to double digits. Our plays per episode is 9. We have 271 plays. Jordan, think about this. Despite how the numbers are fluctuating on audience and viewership and all this other stuff, the number of total plays always keeps going up, baby, every single week. And that's all I can ask for.
I think we actually gained a subscriber.
Really?
It still says +5 in the past 28 days, but one of them was like yesterday. That's what it looks like.
Ballin'. Okay. Next week, remind me to talk about Spotify Wrapped, because like literally the last 2 episodes I've been meaning to talk about Spotify Wrapped.
We can definitely do that on the reflection episode.
Yeah, I think that'd be
makes good sense.
That's actually making me a little bit excited because, Jordan, this is a bitchin' year.
19 episodes so will we have? So this is the Christmas Eve episode, right?
Yeah.
We only have one
and
more.
then episode 19 will be the
yeah,
New Year's Eve
19
episode.
episodes total in the year of 2022.
Wow. All right.
And it's amazing that one of them is literally the last day of 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's
but like,
crazy.
yeah.
With that said, Jordan, I will have a new schedule for school next year, which means we're going to have to reconsider when we're recording every week.
I mean, Tuesday nights?
I'm thinking Monday nights.
Why would it be any different?
Because I'll be working Wednesday mornings now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
come next year.
Come.
But let's get into the closer. Hey guys, did you enjoy this podcast? Yes, of course. Okay.
You want a free T-shirt?
Hey, go into that.
Okay. You can get a free T-shirt if you email us at toomany-wordspodcast@gmail.com. Send us a picture of you following us on Spotify, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And then send us your shirt size and your mailing address, and we'll get it to you eventually.
Yeah, only 8 left. 8 left. Or 7 left. I gotta check the email. But
I mean, I get the emails on my phone now. I check it every day.
Sweet. But,
And
you know,
there's been no other email.
sweet. Find us on social media at Too Many Words Podcast on Instagram, Scald Stone Productions on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And if I missed anything, everything can be found on thescaldstone.com, the website that promotes my articles, my stories, my personal stories, all the things that I want to write and will write. It's on there, baby girls. Thescaldstone.com. Jordan, who or what do you want to dedicate this hour-and-a-half episode out to?
This episode goes out to a girl named Mandy. That's all you're gonna
Rose?
get. Who?
Mandy Rose?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. You'd probably like her.
All right. There was something else. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Amen on.
This podcast episode goes out to
oh, yeah.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg, be a guest on our podcast someday.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. Don't die before we're big. Please don't, actually. Like, that'd be tragedy. Yeah. Should we make Spielberg the podcast mascot?
No.
No? Okay. You think his image has rights to it?
Probably.
Yeah, most likely. 1, 2, 3.
Amen.